let's have audio first. I don't know why that thing defaults to mute. I really don't. So anyway, big announcement. You guys know I created a new bait. Boom. Big old 7.5 inch wake bait. So one looks like a rainbow trout, one just looks really cool. Now I've caught a lot of bass on this. My biggest is 3.8 pounds on this bait. Last week, let me pull up the chat doc so I can see what you guys are saying, if anybody says anything. Last week, I hooked into 2 monsters, much bigger than 4 pounds. One, my guess, was about 7 pounds. The other one, over 10. Now, a buddy of mine Saturday, if you watched my live, we were talking, and you would have caught that conversation. He hooked in what he thinks is a 14-pounder in the lake. And he caught a 10-pounder last year, which is probably our resort's best largemouth. Well, when I hooked into my 2, the first one, I don't know how he fell off. I had him. I kept the line tight. The rod was bent. I was reeling in. It was actually doing really good, and then he shook it off. He lost his too, by the way. So it didn't make me feel so bad. The other 7-pounder, he shook off too. I didn't have enough power to set the hook. The tip was far too far up. So what I did, I know the bait works. And both of us are convinced we have a state record in that lake. So our state record right now is just over 12 pounds. 12 pounds, 1.6 ounces. Well, I want to shoot for the state record at Lake of the Woods. I think it's there. I think I've seen it. He thinks he's seen it. That fish is out there. So instead of the number 2 hooks that I put on this bait, I got 1/0 Gamakatsu hooks. This was hands down the best hook that I could find on the market, with great reviews. So what I'm going to do is I'm taking these 2s off, and I'm putting the 1/0s on. And without hooking myself. It's very important not to hook yourselves. So I'm just removing these 2s from this bait. Right now, I probably have one more month of good bass fishing at Lake of the Woods before the water starts to cool. We have good warm weather this week. I will be fishing almost exclusively, unless, I feel otherwise, with my heavy gear. This particular gear is set up with 50-pound braid, Power Pro. I love Power Pro braid. And he's not going to break my line. So, basically we take these babies off, and we're going to put these 1/0s on there. And what makes this hook a little bit better than this one is its size. Big difference, right? And the tip is sharper with a slight bend to it. So it'll be harder for a big fish to shake it loose. Now, I've never caught a fish this big, and there's a reason for it. You're tuned into terrible at fishing. But we are modifying this bait and the other one with a much, much larger hook and sharper hook, and it's a better sticking hook. This hook has got a better sticking power to it, and I'm hoping I don't get a personal best, but I'm no longer happy with the personal best. I want the state record. Now that he and I have seen that beast out on the lake, so now that's big. That's big, 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 big. Now the problem about this is these hooks can hook themselves on a cast because they're that big. So I really don't think they will, because they should hook up to each other right now, and they're not. So I have great confidence in that. So this right here is these are Gamakatsu's 1/0, and well, these are not to be trifled with. The sharpest hook I could possibly find with the best staying power. So, not cheap. So, not that these are bad, but I've never caught a fish this big. And they're just so strong, so powerful, that I really thought that hook would be good enough. Really thought that hook would be good enough, but it's not. Or I'm not good enough. So I need every little help I can get. So, I mean, I know I can land a 4 or 5 pounder, but with these hooks, but I don't know with my skill set if I can land something big like that. And I want the state record. I live in a state where they don't bass fish much. They really don't. These guys here, they're salmon, trout, steelhead. Really, that's what they go for. And that's fine. This record has stood up for 30 years. 12 pounder. Some of you may have caught a bigger than a 12 pounder. But there are certain simple guidelines to meet when you hook into and land what you think is a state record, which is over 12 pounds. 12 pounds, 2 ounces or better. So I know what to do. I have, can I get them to hook on each other? No. So really good. So these two baits, one of these baits is going to catch the state record. They really will. I know it. I've seen them. I know how to fish this lake just as good as anybody else. My buddy can fish it better than me. But I want you to know, boats don't catch fish. Skill sets do. It's the person in the boat. So these are 1/0, which I think is about as big as I could probably put on this without fouling up, getting the hooks caught on each other. I really think, I don't think those two hooks, they really can't catch on each other. See how they overlap? They really don't get into each other. So really, really nice. Hey, Randy. Hey, Sister Winnie. So this baby right here has already caught a lot of big bass at Lake of the Woods. Oh, I take that back. It hooked on each other. See, that's what I'm worried about on a cast. So I'm just going to have to keep an eye on that. But I know I've seen a state record in there, and so is my buddy. And we saw it at 2 different spots. And to be honest, I want the state record. I want an over 12 pounder. And I think, in fact, I know Lake of the Woods has one. At least one. I'll definitely get a personal best out of this. But, that'll make me happy. But if I can, in this month, August, I'm going to be working that lake really hard for the Oregon's biggest largemouth bass. It has it I want it. I've seen it, and I want them in my boat. It's got it. I know it's got it. I've seen it. And so is my buddy. If it's the same fish, we don't know. But both of us have seen a bigger than 12-pounder at Lake of the Woods. It's funny that people come to Lake of the Woods here in Oregon for trout and salmon. That's what this state does. They get trout. They want trout and salmon. But nothing fights like a 10-pound largemouth. They're so strong. The mouth is this big, and they just fight, and they're able to shake out just about any hook that you put in. It's going to require a lot more skill than I think I've got, but I'm going to give it a go. Adding these hooks to this bait and this bait. These are topwater baits. When these guys hit it, it explodes. The water just explodes like a fountain, like you dropped a stick of dynamite in there, and you get the show, and hopefully you get the fish. But I will tell you that there are several things I have to do when I catch this fish in order to submit it for a state record. I think I can do it. So that is like the big announcement. It's going for the state record this month. I really want to break that 12-pound largemouth bass record this month. Now, something else I got in the mail is that I got these rod holders, that I'll put on my boat, and I want to lay my rods horizontal, not vertical. So I'm gonna go out there. Also, look soon. I'm uploading a video right now. I'm going to be doing some editing on this new video of a product review. So the product review is on a new water boot, and it was sent to me to review. The danger about doing that is you just don't know, because I'll be honest about it. If it's uncomfortable, it makes my feet sweat. If it doesn't work very well, if it's just poorly made, those things are everything, and I would not tell you one thing or another without being the truth. So look for that video. But definitely tune in this month to my lives. I may not be catching a lot because I'll be throwing a 7.5-inch bait, and so little fish are not going to hit this. So my catch rate is going to be way low this month. We're going to catch a lot of 1, 2, 3, 4 pounders. We might catch some 6, 7, or 8 pounders. What we want is a 12-pound, 2-ounce or better fish. He's in there. He really is in Lake of the Woods. I've seen him. I hooked him. My buddy hooked him. Neither one of us was able to land him, or one of similar size. But I know where I hooked him. He came right out from under cover, right where I thought he might. He was huge, and he just came out, and he exploded on this bait. I really don't know how he shook it out. He's stronger than I am. He did a good job. And then about a half hour later, I hooked into one slightly smaller, my guess 7-pounder, in that 7-pound range, and he shook it out. So I'm really hoping that these Gamakatsus will help stick the landing. It's a bigger hook with better sticky. It's harder to get off of this hook. So anyway, that's it. Thanks for tuning in, Sister Winnie and Randy. Look for my lives and this new review coming up, and I'll be editing that in a little bit as soon as the video is uploaded, and I gotta do some editing on it because I gotta edit out some of my ramblings. But I want to thank you guys, and then I will be reinstalling these onto my boat Why do I want them horizontal? So as vertical, they get in the way of casting. I always have to look behind me and make sure I don't get hit it or snag it or something like that. So if I lay my rods down, I don't have to worry about, losing a bait, which I've been losing baits. I don't like losing baits because this is a $50 bait, guys. This is $50. These are $50. And the last thing you want to do is lose it. So tune in. It's going to be a fun month because we're going after big bass at Lake of the Woods. And I love these guys that don't think Lake of the Woods has big bass. I love these guys. Stay away. Go to Willow Valley. Go to Trinity. Go to, Shasta. Go wherever you want. Stay away from Lake of the Woods for the moment because that baby's mine. It's not yours. It's mine. Okay, guys. Thanks for popping in. I really appreciate it. And tune in on my lives. Friday, Saturday, Monday, I'll be doing lives out on the lake. And then after that, probably Wednesday next week maybe. And then we'll probably go to Monday, Wednesdays. But we're going to work that lake pretty good this month and get that biggin. Thanks, guys. We'll see you later out on the water.
All you do, shut up and